Sorry. Hey guys. Yep. Okay. So I'm pretty sure everyone knows me here. But
Would you like to introduce you?
yes, I'm Kayla. I'm head barista and supervisor here in West End. So just going to talk about the first Pinnacle coffee from this series. But also, can everyone just put their water to 100 degrees so we can pour straight after I finish talking? For the cupping, I'm just going to do mine. Okay, so why is this not working? How do I go next slide?
Oh, there you go.
There you go. It's just a bit delayed.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, so this year's Pinnacle series is the same as last year's, which is 2 Panamas and 2 Colombians. 3 of them are Geshas and 1 of the Panamas is a Paparama. So, but the one that we're tasting today is the Margot Fuentes, which is a Gesha. And when I spoke to Pete, he explained the rollout. So basically we're releasing 1 at a time and basically like going to be selling out of 1 hopefully before we release the next, which I assume Pete was like once a month you were saying. So yeah, like last year, I feel like when we released like all at the same time, like in West End, we didn't sell out of all of them. We actually had to like freeze down most of it here in West End. So we have a freezer full of Pinnacle series coffee that we're trying to work through. And now that we're not doing pour overs while we're renovating, it makes it a little harder, but that's fine. So yeah, why is this so delayed? Okay, I don't know why it's delayed, but so the Margot Fuentes is a Gesha varietal and static cherry process. Has taste notes of mango, vanilla cream, and dried cherry and orange blossom. So it was processed by the Creativa Coffee District. They're producers in Croquette that I'm sure everyone might be familiar with. They were the same people who processed the Panamas last year. So they process the coffees in neighbouring farms that can't process their coffee in the way that specialty coffee industry requires. They also guarantee higher incomes for growers and ensure a more sustainable practice for processing stations in the area. They're also naming the coffees after the farmers. So the Margot Fuentes is the farmer who grew this coffee, which is really cool. So the static cherry process is an anaerobic fermented naturally processed coffee. So basically they put the coffee into big plastic containers and seal them at around 28 degrees. They ferment them for like 24 to 72 hours depending. But this coffee was fermented at 72 hours and then laid to dry for 19 days. This fermentation is really similar to the Finca Victoria from last year, except for that was an extended fermentation. And if you remember it, it had tasting notes of overripe mandarin, cranberry and hibiscus. It was like quite an intense and complex coffee. And I feel like in comparison to this one, the Margot Fuentes, this one is quite delicate. And the shorter fermentations kind of bring out that subtle vibrancy to the coffee and also brings out like a creamier mouthfeel, which I feel like you get more in the pour over compared to the cupping. So yeah, if we're ready to cup now, we'll cup and then try it and come back in like 10 or so minutes if you're okay with that. Cool, right.
Are you doing this?
You've already tried it, and you don't have to be. No. Did anybody have any questions? Or Pete, did you want to maybe explain the roasting as well? Because I remember you saying that you roasted it at like a medium roast to bring out more of the acidity. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically, it's a little bit sort of stretched out. It was kind of a little fickle on the sample roasting, so we had to kind of pull it a little bit more to get a bit more sweet balance out of it, because it tends to want to be very acidic and kind of greenish when you under roast it at all, or you get it too fast on the development, which is not always the case with especially naturals. But really, yeah, we really try to get the kind of the sweet spot in that balance, and really shooting more for some of the sweet elements as opposed to pure flavor articulation, which generally we don't do anyway. But we kind of pushed that a little bit more because it expressed a lot more elegantly in the coffee itself. So essentially what you're saying is, like, if you think of Victoria last year we had on the Pinnacles, it was super fermenty, super intense acid, lots of fruit, lots of stuff going on, but it was a bit too strong for a lot of people. This coffee, even though it's still clearly not the exact same farm, but it's very similar, static cherry, geisha, CCD, Panama, everything. This one came through with a lot more of a kind of a reined in acidity. So it's a lot more high quality of acidity, that I would say. Although the flavor notes are not quite as just in your face and it's expressive. So that roasting approach was a bit more to make sure and smooth out the sweetness and get that nice balancing factor in there, as opposed to kind of worrying about that really intense acidity or whatnot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's basically it. We didn't do anything really crazy with the roasting on it, but we definitely pushed it a little more on the development side to make sure that it came through well.
Yeah. Does anybody else want to break? Or do you just want to break?
Well, we'll break because you guys have done this.
You guys
So,
break.
I'll break it.
Is anyone getting anything with wet aroma?
Consistent form and aroma.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different form of
What was that question?
Sorry. Do we want to talk about wet aroma?
Yeah, it smells quite delicate actually. Like I got a lot of like brandy raisins and dates and cocoa nibs. But yeah, quite delicate still.
Yeah. I think we like the
I got a really strong, sorry,
No,
I found picked up in a really strong like sweet nougat or like an almondy sweet nougat smell. Yeah, like the sweetness is what jumps out at me.
There is
Like
a
it just
sweetness
smells really sweet on my end.
definitely
Yeah.
like red berries, and also like picked up like biscuit for me, like kind of like shortbread, I think.
I just want to taste it.
And is everyone fine with the pour over recipe?
Did you want to go through it again, Kayla, maybe?
Yeah, so, and I didn't mention that it was at 93 degrees in the email, so sorry. Brewing it at 93, and then it's just a 3-stage pour. So 15 grams in, ground on 7.5, and then we just do a 50-gram bloom, pour to 120 grams at 30 seconds, and then pour to 180 grams at a minute, and then pour to 250 at a minute 30, and then it should finish dripping at around 2 minutes.
Was it pour up to 250, did you say, Kayla?
Yeah, up to 250. Yeah. Okay, what is everyone getting from the cupping?
You see?
It's okay.
Like lemon orange peel, actually, that's in the lady, right?
So I think a few things that we got is definitely stone fruits and floral.
Like
No,
Lady Grey.
lady grape. Lady
I
grape.
got red grape,
yeah,
honeysuckle.
Honeysuckle, yeah. I said like honeydew, which yeah,
just aspirated.
and it's super creamy as well.
Like a zesty wine.
Really creamy, really satisfying.
Yeah.
Like this aspirated.
Peach.
It's like the red fruit flavor is not quite as intense as a cherry, but it's got that like sweetness of a really nice sweet red grape.
Yeah.
Cheers, isn't it?
Did you say stone fruit?
Come back to that side.
So that's the second side's better now.
They've done it so much that Brian's just went into my mouth.
Before it was missing that middle bit, whereas now it's got complexity.
Yeah, cool. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you know what?
Lucky, what do you think?
Oh yeah, it's really interesting.
I was just
B60 B60 is really quite different to the actual cupping. Yeah, I'm sort of like, it's definitely a lot more focused on that strawberry flavor. It's almost like kind of got a pink marshmallow sort of thing going on.
Yeah.
Really cool. Yeah, I get you with stone fruits. Like I don't think that really came through too much in the cupping, but in the pour over itself, it's definitely coming forward as like a nectarine sort of thing. Yeah, really, really good.
Sorry, Lockie, what did you just say then?
So, mandarin?
Yeah.
Yep, I get the mandarin. Yeah. Jade, how's your experience? How's your taste experience, Jade?
A taste experience. I'm waiting for my son to wake up, but anyway, I got like cranberries straight up, and then like like a cascara tea, red grape, and then it was quite light and delicate in the cupping, and then it moved into more of a creamy body, and like cocoa nib on the finish, and then I'm just waiting for my B6 to cool down. But it smells amazing. Like it smells like
As a V60, that's beautiful.
it smells so sweet.
Yeah, that's really, really nice. Really like that recipe too.
Don't worry, we just lost you guys. Our internet's really unstable here.
We were just talking about you. That's all.
Did you want to hotspot?
Yeah, you keep freezing.
Yeah, you can
Probably keep all up to the front.
Were you doing a
All right.
similar recipe on the bar, Lockie? Or what were you doing? Or what are you gonna do?
I haven't dialed it in yet, but all the recipes that I've done were not as good as that one, surprisingly enough. Yeah. What I noticed is that we're noticing that it kind of over extracts really easily. So we started off with like a normal recipe of like 94 degrees and whatever, like 3/4. And yeah, it definitely needs a bit lower in temp. So that 92 is really good. I probably maybe push it up to 93.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's that's probably where I'm going to start with that recipe there, and then tweak a little bit more for the bar. It's actually really,
Has anyone,
really like that.
has anyone tried this as an espresso?
Yes. Yeah, just a bit too bright.
How does it hold up as espresso?
Good, right.
Yeah, and we did it pretty weird. We were doing like so we did it frozen. We did it like 4.5 bars. So maybe if we put the pressure up a little bit more, we get a bit more sweetness. But that's generally how we run our espressos.
Yeah, when I pulled shots upstairs in the training room when we first got it in, and it was really sweet. the acidity was a lot more kind of reined in, Lockie, rather than the lower bar pressure.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like peanut buttery. Like it had this like sort of nutty, creamy cashew butter nut like type of thing to it. That probably wasn't quite as elegant as the pour over is. So yeah, I preferred it on the pour over personally. But it was still super sweet.
What
Like it was
yield
really
did you
yummy.
use for the espresso recipe?
It was just 2-to-1 standard.
I love that. That's so tasty.
It's probably the nicest pour I've ever had this year.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm glad you guys like it. I got to run over to another meeting here, but good luck with everything.
Thanks,
And
Pete.
yeah, enjoy.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Pete. Good to see you, mate.
Yeah, you too. See you guys.
Kayla was
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, she's gone.
Sorry, we see you. Sorry, we're trying to sort out the hotspot. Taylor, have you got your connection for your phone? So just, yeah, so
Have you got any customers, Paul, that are buying this or interested in buying?
Regiment, but they've just come back online, and I think their focus at the moment is just trying to
Operations.
get back to ops.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
How has it been opening up?
It's been strange, if I can tell you the truth, because it's like you've got people that jumped on board with reopening very, very quickly, and then you've got people that are still takeaway only kind of thing. So it's just it's really situational depending on where you travel around Sydney.
Yeah.
What's good to see is that in the CBD at least, there's a lot of trade returning and people returning to offices, which is good.
Yeah, I'm not missing the traffic.
Oh,
The traffic
well, you
is
can have some of
Melbourne
Sydney.
hard.
Don't you people in Melbourne complain to me about traffic? Seriously, 2 days in Sydney, you'll be pulling your hair out.
Yeah, I would.
I nearly got someone pulled over on the side of the road the other day and told me to get out of my car and wanted to fight me. That's the state of traffic in Sydney.
Jesus.
And I just said, mate, I've got better things to do in my time.
I've got customers to deal with. Okay, I've got to go.
That's right. A coffee to brew. I've got things to do.
Oh, yeah.
In retrospect, I thought he's probably the sort of guy that he does that sort of thing all the time. And people like that might need someone just to get out and pump them every now and then, just to, put him back in line.
Exactly.
I'm not that sort of person, for the record.
No.
I'm not a fighter, I promise.
How about you, Tyson? Have you got you've got a customer that was doing something over there? Is that right? Last week? Thumbs up. His internet's gone, I think.
We're winning with the technology today.
Winning with the technology, at least Queensland.
Yes.
We can hear you, Kayla. Have you got the internet all sorted?
Yeah, sorry. Sorry to
Hi,
go back over
Linda.
again.
Hi. No, you don't get to taste it, Linda.
Oh, hi.
You don't get to taste.
Back to work. What time?
So I kind of missed all that.
Was there anything
She's-
else anyone wanted to discuss with
Yeah,
this coffee?
yeah. Kayla, how did you go about dialing in? Like, how did you get to this recipe? Is that like sort of your go-to recipe, or just work a bit?
Yeah, I started with the go-to recipe. Like normally I just measure the bean density first to get the right temp. So I measured it and got 93 degrees, like used the chart off Pete's book. And then I just normally do like a 1 to 16.7 ratio, which is obviously like the go-to. And I always do a 3-stage pour just because I have like more control over that, I found. I did try to so I started on 7.5 on the EK, and then I thought I would try to make it finer to see if I could get any more sweetness out of it. But I didn't. I lost the sweetness when I ground it 7. So I just found that going over or under like just didn't really work. So yeah, the first recipe actually came out like this. So it's like super sweet and yeah, it worked well with us. So yeah.
Was your finish time 2 minutes, did you say?
Yeah, 2 minutes. I'm not sure if it was varied like with different water as well. Like,
yeah. I had a finish time of 2 minutes 30, and it's just a little bit dry on the end. But I don't have an air cake home. But yeah, it still tastes really nice, just a little bit dry on the end. So I might want to go a little bit faster.
Yeah.
How about you, Lockie?
Yeah, it was 2:30. So my coffee was frozen as well, and I was using heat upstairs. So yeah, it went 2:30. It was interesting. It was like a lot of strength. Like I'd like to TDS that. It felt really, really strong to me. But the acid was quite pointy. So I'd probably go another degree higher, and then maybe another 10 grams longer. Kind of get it open up a little bit, but yeah, it was super tasty.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'll try. What was your recipe for espresso? Because I haven't tried it online.
My recipe for espresso was 21 in, 48 out. It was about 22 seconds, but it was
what was it?
Sorry, 21 in, 48 out, and about about 22 seconds. But that was at 4.5 bars on our mod bar.
Yeah. Okay.
But I haven't tried it at normal pressure yet. So is everyone going to have this on the bar on Friday? Is that what we're all aiming at?
Well, we won't be doing for this one. Yeah, we might do it as espresso. The only issue is that while renovations is happening, we're doing takeaway only. So for a coffee like this, I'd rather not do it in takeaway cups.
Yeah.
I will definitely like freeze some down when we get out.
Have you actually received your coffee yet? Still using your samples? Yeah, I haven't got mine either.
What was that? Has no one got coffee?
No, I'm still using the samples.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll let Pete know, because Pete said that it was getting sent out last Monday or the Friday before. Has Paul, have you got your coffee?
Yeah, we're getting like the actual.
So I haven't been in the cafe much this week. I had to isolate for the first 2 days. To my knowledge, we just have the samples, but I'll check with Linda.
Oh, okay.
Let me check with Linda.
Have you got your coffee, Tyson? Were you getting coffee?
Yeah, we've got it. So we had our event on Friday for the Pinnacle series. So we had all our coffee by then.
How did it go? How'd the event go?
It went well. It was not the greatest turnout. So we had a handful of people, but so I think we got a bunch of leftover coffee that I think we're going to try to probably send back or get a freeze or something along those lines. So I'm not too sure exactly what Tim was organising there, but the people that came enjoyed it. It was good for them, and it was able to engage a few people that haven't really stepped into much of specialty as well. So, and it wasn't just like Veneziana customers either. So a few other people from around the place. So yeah, no, it was nice. So we're looking at hopefully getting me and Tim have found a co-working space that can double as basically a workshop area.
Yeah.
So and then they've got an event space. So if we can convince Michael Taylor and whoever else needs to be convinced to let us move into it, we should be able to start doing a lot more practicals. Like even like without a setup right now, it's hard for us to do stuff.
It's hard to test out recipes and exactly.
Yeah. So like I'm at home at the moment. I've got a mocha master, which is good. But it's been limiting
Yeah,
even just for
of
this.
course.
So, but yeah, so no, the event it's just building up from here, I guess.
Yeah.
As we get better and better. So, but yeah, anyway, so we did get our coffee to answer that question.
I might get in touch with Dan and Pete, and I'll CC everyone in, just so that we find out when the coffee hits, because my understanding was that it was launching in the cafes from Friday. I guess you can use your samples, but yeah, I can find that out.
Our deliveries usually arrive on a Friday, late Friday at this stage. If it wasn't on the last delivery, it's unlikely to be here before Friday this week.
Did anyone have anything else that they wanted to ask at all? It doesn't have to go for the full hour, but yeah, does anyone else want to say something or ask anything?
Oh, I just thought that was that's really beautiful coffee. That's probably the nicest experience of a pour over that I've had since starting with Vanette's. It's just that recipe was bang on. It's okay with you. I'll take that recipe to my customers and brew that with them. Because yeah, it's special coffee. We should get it out there to people. Get it in front of people.
And if we could, if anyone's doing any other recipes over the next week with a pour over, if you've tweaked it, if you could share it through to the group, that'd be awesome.
I'll play around with it at home. I'd like to get like a bit of a longer yield. Generally like, somewhere around 20 grams, 300 mils, something like that. So I might play around with that over the next couple of days and get back to you.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And I've recorded this session, so I'll chuck it up onto Workplace in the coffee knowledge section, and I'll share the recipe there as well.
Okay, awesome.
Awesome.
Do we need to pick the next person?
Thanks, Kayla. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, does anyone? I think Mike wanted to step up for the next one.
Mike Wells. Yeah, awesome.
Beautiful. I'm going to go, guys, because this one. Kayla, that was awesome, and that tasted amazing. So I'm going to use that recipe from now on. That's great.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you
You
all.
too. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you
See ya.
guys.
Bye.